Hello my friends, and welcome back to our channel, Home is Where Our Heart Is. My name is Dane, author of the series of books Knowledge to Forage and A Healing Herbal Journey. I hope you're having a beautiful time wherever you are in the world, and thank you all for joining me here today, where I'm absolutely blessed to be spending my morning out in the heart of the Kent countryside, also known as the Garden of England. And there's one tree in particular that rules these lands, and that tree goes by the name of the mighty oak. The oak trees are very special trees. They support more life than any other tree. They provide us with free food and medicine, and they hold a special place in our hearts and history. So if you're interested, then come for a walk through the countryside with me, and let's dive into the world of the oak tree. I'm absolutely immersed and surrounded in oak trees. There's something very special about oak trees. When I look off across the countryside and see ancient oaks dominating the landscape, I can't help but get overcome with a sensation, a feeling that just makes me feel like it's calling me home, wherever that may be, because home, after all, is where our heart is. Now, oaks like this oak here can grow up to huge sizes. Oaks can grow all the way up to 20 to 40 meters tall, and they live for a very long time. Some oaks can live for over 1,000 years. Now, you'll find oaks growing in woodlands, but it's outside when they have a bit of space where they truly thrive. When an oak is out in a field like this one behind me here, they can spread out and stretch, creating a huge canopy known as its crown. And this canopy is so dense with leaves that it actually creates its own microclimate beneath the tree itself. What a microclimate is its own tiny little weather zone. You see how this oak tree is dominating this patch of earth here? Its shade is making it cooler, it's falling debris, it's changing how the wind affects the land, and of course it shelters it from rain, making it its own tiny little weather zone. This changes how the plants and everything lives underneath the tree. Now, the life cycle of the oak is very interesting, because it all starts with a single seed, a single acorn. The acorn will fall from the tree and land on the ground. But what's fascinating is roughly one in every 10,000 acorns will ever go on to become a mighty oak tree. Why? Well, this is because life's actually pretty difficult for an acorn. You see, everything wants to eat this nutritious nut. Squirrels, insects, birds. It's a great gift of food for wildlife. But when the tiny seed does find itself in the perfect conditions, it will send down its roots into the soil, grow into a little sapling, and then up from a tiny seed into a mighty oak tree, year after year, providing an abundance of leaves, flowers, and nuts. So oak trees are what's called monoecious. What does this mean? Well, monoecious means that the tree has both male and female flowers. Now, its life cycle goes like this. You see, in the spring it will flourish with these big, beautiful green leaves with their deep lobes, and it will also bloom with flowers. You'll get the male catkins that dangle and the female spikes. And what happens is the pollen then, as the weather warms up, produced by these flowers, drifts off on the wind, and it will land in other trees. And the oak trees will pollinate each other because they rely on the wind to pollinate. The male catkins' pollen will float across to a neighbouring oak tree and land on the female spikes, and they will then get pollinated and create an acorn nut. Now, oak trees don't create nectar. This is why they rely on the wind for pollination. And once the work of the year is done, the pollinating is finished, the acorns are produced and the flowers are no more, and the weather turns into autumn and begins to cool for winter. Of course, the acorns will fall to the ground and the tree will fall to sleep for winter, laying dormant, resting, waiting for spring next year to do it all over again. The oaks will do this for hundreds and hundreds of years, sometimes even thousands of years. Each year, a single oak produces thousands of acorns, and in its lifetime, an acorn produces millions of acorn nuts. Now, what's interesting about oaks is they grow tall, mighty and strong, whilst they're young, but then when they become elderly, they begin to decrease in height, and they also begin to grow their branches out low to the ground. Like this one you see before me here. They're growing their branches low to the ground to rest their arms, to steady themselves. Just like us, when we become elderly and old, we need a walking stick to prop us up. And this is what the oak trees are doing. So when you come across an oak tree like this one that's reaching its branches down towards the ground, you know you've come across a wise old oak. Well, it's officially autumn, and the autumn showers are here. I'm going to cut through this gully to get out the rain a little bit. Now, when it comes to its role in the circle of life, the oak tree supports more life than any other tree. You see, the acorns, of course, fall to the ground, feeding many mammals such as badgers and squirrels and foxes. The birds, such as jays, eat the acorns, as well as the leaves that are enjoyed by insects. Caterpillars, for example, love to feast upon the oak leaves. Now, this tree supports all sorts of life. It supports birds as a habitat. Birds live in the tree in its nooks and crannies. It even supports reptiles, fungus, moss, toads and snakes. All in all, the oak tree, the mighty oak, supports more than 2,300 different forms of life on this earth. How incredible is that? It's truly a caring and giving tree. Now, the acorns don't just support wildlife, they're also edible to us humans too. And once processed, we can eat them just as you would nuts, or you can powder them to make a flour alternative. Acorn flour, which you can use to bake bread, a vital source of food for people. Not only can you bake them into bread, but during the war, they was used to make a coffee alternative, a nice bitter drink to replace coffee, because coffee was imported from abroad. Now, this didn't have caffeine in it, but as many of you know, just a cup of coffee alone has something satisfying about it. A special bitter drink that's warming and just makes us happy. It's irreplaceable, and it's a very special drink indeed. So when you can't get coffee, acorn coffee makes a fantastic substitute. Now, to eat acorns is super simple. You can't just eat them fresh off the tree because they're rich in tannins, which are very astringent and just dry your mouth out and taste horrible. What you have to do is process them in a process called leaching, and this is super simple. All you do is take the acorns out of their shell, like this one, you pop it out, and inside you're left with the white nut. You place all these in a pan of water and leave it until it goes a murky colour. You pour out the water, put in fresh water, repeat this until the water goes clear. This removes the tannins, so you can eat the acorn nut. Now, you could speed this process up a lot if you put the water onto a simmer. Then you can do this process just in an afternoon, rather over a matter of days. Now, the oaks don't just provide the animals and us with food rich in protein and fats, they're also a natural source of healing medicine. You see, historically and all the way up to the day, the oak's been valued for its astringent properties. Those things that make it take bitter, the tannins are astringent, and this means they're incredibly good at healing wounds, because when you apply them to wounds, it tightens the skin. So astringent, it's good for healing wounds, but when you drink them, say in a tea, it's also good for treating digestive issues, and if you gurgle them in your mouth, the astringency is good for healing sore gums and conditions such as gingivitis. Now, when science dived into the world of the medicinal properties of the oak, they discovered that in fact the oaks can reduce stomach pain and indigestion, heal wounds and inflammation, improve recovery after operations such as hysterectomies, and also improve insomnia and fatigue, lifting the mood. How incredible is that? This tree takes care of wildlife, it takes care of people, it takes care of our food needs, insects, reptiles, birds, and it also heals us. It's powerfully astringent. It can heal our wounds, reduce our inflammation, treat our stomach issues, sore mouths like gingivitis, and it can also increase our well-being. There's a break in the rain. The sun has decided to bless us with its lovely warming presence. So let's quickly dive into the history of the oak. There's no tree that's more symbolic in depth and ingrained all throughout history and mythology. You see, the oak tree is connected to all the greatest gods. Thor, the god of thunder, is connected to the oak tree. The oak's considered sacred to Thor, the god of lightning from Norse mythology. It's also connected to Zeus, and Zeus is also heavily involved in lightning. And this is likely because the tree, the oak, with its tall, giant crowned canopy, is often struck by lightning. Now, the Romans would also wear oak crowns to symbolize its wisdom and strength, and the Druids themselves would perform rituals under the oak. They worshipped the oak tree, using it for its medicine, and it's actually thought that the word Druid itself used to mean knower of the oak. So there we have it, people, the mighty oak tree, a generous tree, a gift to diversity, a tree that supports thousands of different life forms on Earth. It takes care of birds, mammals, insects, and people. It can feed us and heal us. And it's a tree that's also rich in history. As always, it's been a pleasure. Don't forget to do all the modern world things such as like and comment on this channel, subscribe, ring the bell, because the more engagement our channel gets, the more YouTube shows it to more people. So the more our nature-inspired education can spread across the land. If you want to own all the knowledge just like this in book form, check out our awesome series of books, Knowledge to Forage and A Healing Herbal Journey. Check out our Follow Along Foraging for our monthly educational subscription packs that are fun, colourful and engaging. But most importantly of all, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
From a tiny seed to a mighty oak tree, known to all other trees as Your Majesty. Oak, a symbol of power and strength, refuses to bow to time and become extinct. With more than 65 million years on this earth, to more than 10 million acorns will an oak tree give birth. But with its 10 million children, these hat-wearing seeds, only 1 in 10,000 will grow up to become a mighty oak tree.